Hey there, and welcome to this week's Music Career Study Group. I'm Kevin, and Chris, you're back. You were out last week. We had week one with Rick Barker. You were in the recording studio. How did that go?
It was amazing. I'd say I have an EP almost ready, but if I'm working my usual process, it'll take me years to finish the last 5%. But I'm excited. Actually, I'm excited to talk and learn from Rick today because it's going in a slightly different direction from my usual stuff, and I don't know how to describe it. And I caught up on last week's broadcast, so I know I should use ChatGPT, and I've got my homework cut out.
All right. Well, you are watching the Music Career Study Group. My name's Kevin. This is Chris. This is the ReverbNation YouTube channel and Facebook feed. We hope you're ready to settle in and join us. It's a study group. That means you get to participate. So let us know where you're watching from. Drop a comment in the chat. This is a dialogue the whole time. So we want to hear from you. We want to know where you're watching from. And just, feel free to weigh in at any point. We've got our second episode or edition of our 4-week series with Rick. We're talking about turning listeners into lifelong fans. Today's version, we're going to be engaging and growing your audience. That's what we're going to be discussing. So all the things building off of what we talked about last week. I can't wait to hear what Rick has to bring. Let's pull on Rick on in. So again, while we're getting Rick situated, feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, and you can drop a link to your music. But we found out in YouTube, you have to type it out. It won't take the actual link. In Facebook, it works. So, but drop a link to your music. We want to know where you're watching from and say hi. And Rick, how you doing?
I'm good. And your guys are together again. I love that. You know, it's like the old days.
The old days. We still have our youth too. Look at us, Rick.
I know, right?
We don't look a day over 30.
A few more grays in my hair.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how old are you? I said, 57. They're like, man, I would have never guessed you were a day over 56. No. I don't know if that was a compliment or not, but at this age, I do have to put on the glasses to see what's going on over here in the chat. Trick the Riddle, Malia, welcome. Hakeem, Earl, we got LA, we got Pittsburgh, we got Pasadena, and we got New York City. Wow. So excited that you guys are here. Thanks for the opportunity once again to speak with your audience and really talk about one of the things that I absolutely love the most, which is fan engagement. You know, it's one of those things where when we first started and you guys being musicians, you know, Kevin and Chris came in, it was how many followers can you get? You know, it was just like everybody was in search of their follower. You know, if you get to 10,000 followers, you get verified on all these platforms. And so there were weird things out there where you could buy followers. And I remember on Twitter one time, there was this app where you could go on and I could take Kevin's username and buy him like 5,000 followers without him knowing. And he'd wake up the next day and see 5,000 extra followers and think that, oh my gosh, you know, they're loving my stuff. And I was gifting people, you know, 5,000 followers like it was candy. And
somehow I missed that.
Yeah. So, but what was funny was because that's all anybody cared about at the time was how many followers do you have? And I learned early on that followers do not equal fans. And that was eye-opening because people were basing what they were doing on all these weird numbers, but they couldn't sell tickets to a show. They couldn't move merchandise. They couldn't really grow their business because they found themselves focusing on the wrong thing. And then the other thing that I started noticing was it's great if you have all these followers, but are they liking your stuff? Are they listening to your music? Are you able to start conversations with them? And that's when I realized that fans without engagement mean nothing. Fans without engagement mean nothing. And I'll ask artists sometimes, I'll say, hey, so how many fans do you have for your music? And the first thing they say is, well, I've got 5,000 followers across all my platforms. I said, that's not what I asked you. How many fans do you have? So the things I start looking at today is people are geared towards how many Spotify monthly listeners do you have? And what that means is how many people within a 28-day period listen to your music at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling me that they're ready. You're telling me that they want me to introduce them to labels. And I'm like, you've got 458 monthly followers. And if we go down to your about section, our monthly listeners, now we see that you've got 40 followers. Those are your fans.
Yeah.
You now have 40 fans. How many people are commenting on your social post? That's the number of fans that you have. How many tickets can you sell to a show in Portland? 100. You have 100 fans in Portland. Doesn't matter if Spotify says you have 2,000 people that listen to your music. How many people are actually coming to your shows? How many people are actually engaging with your post? And that's what we're going to talk a lot about today is what can we do to get them to engage? What can we do to get them to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to know more about you. I want to go deeper with you. What can we do to get them to raise their hand? And that's the magic right there. And the first thing you can do is one, start asking questions. Rick, I don't get any comments. Well, all it said was a fire emoji on how hot you think your new song is. That inspired them to want to leave a comment. And I'm like, ask them if they can relate. Well, what's your song about? What is the emotion that you're trying to tap into? Drew Baldridge, who is independent, well, he's not independent as of today because he just signed his deal, ended up writing a song called Somebody's Daughter. And it was a song that he had written years ago. He wanted to have a song for his wife for their wedding. He wrote this song. There was another song that came out at the time. So he didn't release his song. 2 years later, he releases this song. And because he's the writer on the song, he says, you know what? He says, I can't get a label to pay attention to me right now. I need to show them that people are responding to this song. So he started posting and posting and posting. And he started getting people to share pictures. He started asking people questions about their life. And it's amazing what happens when you ask someone a question that isn't over the top, that they will respond. And that's what happened with him. So now he says, okay, I don't have a label, but I know if radio buys into this, it will work. So he paid out of his own pocket. He hired a radio promotion team. He went out and he met radio. And what he ended up doing, fast forward, is he ended up becoming the first solely funded independent artist to get a #1 song at country radio. Cost him about $300,000 running the business, setting up the business, but he knew that was an investment for himself. He knew that if he could show this engagement, now he's headlining his own shows of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. Now he's being invited to go out on tour with bigger artists. And the reason that he's being invited to go out on tour with bigger artists is because he's shown that he can sell tickets. He showed that people are invested in him, the artist. It started with a song. Now they're buying into his journey. And so often we don't share the journey. We just show up with a song and expect everyone to love it, or expect everyone to be able to relate to it, or expect everyone to understand what that song is about. Those are the types of things that you can post right now that will provoke engagement, that will provoke wanting to know more about you, that will provoke. I mean, every week he went live thanking people, updating them. Hey, we just broke into the top 40. This is only because of your support that radio's buying into this. He knew that if he could bring the audience to the radio station, that the radio station could then bring their audience to him. Instead, most artists are just waiting for someone else to build the audience for them. They think that's the magic formula. That's not the magic formula. It's like, what are you willing to do to show them I have an audience? I can bring this audience. Kevin, I want to open up for your band. I think I can sell 50 tickets. Now, that may not seem like a lot of tickets, but when you're a band that can sell 150 and you've got a 200 cap room and you've got an opener that can sell those additional 50 tickets, you bring a lot of value to that band.
Yeah.
And that's what I think sometimes is that people are so focused on how small their numbers might be. But right now, and I hate sometimes I pull the curtain back on certain things, but you're going to hear an artist send out a press release that they did 10 sold out dates in a row in New York City. And when you hear that, Chris, what do you think? Oh my gosh, 10 sold out shows, 10 sold out dates in New York City?
I'm sold. That's impressive.
Exactly.
I didn't hear that the venue only fit 20 people.
Actually, I was going to tell you it's 40. So there's a lot of 40-person seat venues in New York City. But even being able to get people in a very busy town where there's a lot going on, where there's a lot of competition for people's attention and their dollars and willing to come out, that is a big deal. And so many of you think, well, if I'm not selling 1,000 tickets, why don't you learn how to sell 10 tickets? Why don't you learn how to sell 20 tickets? Why don't you learn how to sell 30 tickets? And the best way to be able to do that is to directly communicate with these fans who they've gotten to know you. I always tell people what we do online, if done properly, will translate offline. So what I mean by that is the work and the energy and the effort that you put into building these relationships online, when you get to take it offline to like a show, people want to come meet that person. That's why a lot of people had success during COVID, is because there was no place for them to go, but they were showing up every day online. They were doing these shows. And now all of a sudden, when you get to go to a 40-person venue and all 40 people are excited to see you and all 40 people are willing to spend 20, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it is, to come see you at this show and buy this merchandise, now all of a sudden you're able to sit there and say, hey, these are my people. Then you get those 40 to bring a friend next time. Now you book a venue that has 100 people. And then you get those 100 people to bring a friend next time. And now you get to a venue that's got 200 people. But you cannot do that if you're just relying on how many followers you have or how many monthly subscribers you have. It's how many relationships do you have with people in that particular area. That's, to me, what's missing right now, is that you don't know your numbers.
Yeah.
You don't know the data that goes along with this. And what I want to do is really talk to you about how to go research your own platforms to be able to say, okay, it's kind of jumping ahead here, but right now, Brazil is streaming like crazy right now. And what I do is I tell artists, I say, hey, go find out where your favorite band, like if Kevin's favorite band is Coldplay, we'll just use that as an example. What other countries is Coldplay having success in that's underserved, that not everyone's trying to get on? Because everyone wants to pay for the US audience when it comes to ads. Everyone wants to pay for Canada and Australia. I'm having a lot of success with my artists, and I'm going to show you here in a second one of our ad accounts on what's taking place in Brazil, on what's taking place in some of these other countries where you can become a big shot in those countries, and they'll increase your streaming numbers. And a lot of them speak English. There's a reason why when you see some of these live music specials that get recorded for these bands, they usually choose their show in Rio to record,
because they know they're going to be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, people were passing out from heat exhaustion at Taylor Swift Eras tour in Brazil. It was like they were showing people just dropping, so when you've got those types of fans, that's what's going to ultimately make the business for you.
Hey, if you're just joining us, this is the Music Career Study Group. We've got Rick Barker here. We're talking about fan engagement today. Say hi in the comments, drop a link to your music, let us know where you're watching from. And if you've got questions along the way, feel free to chime in. We're monitoring the comments, and we want this to be a dialogue. Rick's here to work directly with those who are here. So information, but feel free to chime in and ask questions. And, Rick, I don't know if you're going to need any guinea pigs today, but last week we needed a guinea pig, and someone.
Well, we've got one right now. Derek Ray. Derek
okay.
Ray has already put in his website. I've actually just put it up in one of my windows that we can go through, and we can do a quick little audit for him. And I that's what I love doing the most. I love being able to say, where are you at? Because I can sit here and talk all day. These guys know that. The three of us get together, forget about it. You know what I mean? We can nerd out. We can go into all this other stuff. But what's more important for me, especially with this ReverbNation community, is that we meet you where you are. And I say that respectfully because most of you think you're a little further along than where you really are. And for those of you that are taking the time out of your day to be here with us live, if you're watching this on the replay right now, you're that small percentage that's giving yourself a better shot because you're going out and getting the information that you need. Most people just try to figure this out on their own. So I'm going to go into the present section here, and I'm going to screen share, and I am going to tell me if you can see this, Kevin.
Yeah, I have to add it to the stage. Let's see. Here we go.
Can you see this website?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Derek, first off, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to take a look at this. So, one of the things that I want to say first and foremost is that my rules for website is basically we need to see you, hear you, and connect with you. So, you've worked so hard to get me to your website. The first thing that you're wanting to do is send me to Facebook, rental property, Instagram, rental property, YouTube, rental property, ReverbNation, rental property. I haven't heard any of your music yet or don't know anything about you. And the first thing you're trying to do is kick me out of your house. So I would lower this. The next thing you're asking me to do is to join your mailing list. Why? Tell me what's in it for me. Respectfully, I'm trying to unsubscribe from as many email lists as I can because I've joined way too many and I get so much junk mail that comes through. You have to give me a reason to want to join your mailing list. Do you have a community? What's it mean to be a part of this community? What kind of interaction am I going to get by giving you something so personal as my email address? So then the next thing is the about section. I would use a different picture. Derek Ray from Philadelphia is an avid guitar player, songwriter who hopes to make it a career someday. He works full-time as a recruiter, is actively involved in his church, and has 2 children. He would like to thank his family, friends, and his fiancee, Jen, for all their support. He would also like to thank Matt Dame for doing the vocals on Don't Want to Fight No More and Sweeter Than Whiskey. Okay, so most people are lazy. They won't read this. I'm just reading it because it's here in front of me. Now, the good news is you have the music. We need to get the music higher. You need to let me experience you before you start asking me for personal information because we're really not there in our relationship yet. But let's just say that I heard some music. I liked what you had to write. I go to your Instagram page. And let's make sure that let me now present the Instagram page. So now we're going to Instagram and I see I have a plugin that kind of shows me what's happening here. So you post 55 times. This one, first day of 10th and 6th grade. That's more for a story. That's more for the people that already follow you. What I want you to understand is that this feed is to help me connect with you more on a fan of your music level. Personal stuff, share that for stories. If it's somebody who's already following you, that's great. Then we go in here. Only 6.5 hours left to vote now. Basically, it looks like you're in some kind of contest or something like that. Vote for what? Hey, it's Derek, and thank you for being here on my website. I'm actually in this contest, America's Next Top Hitmaker. There's 6.5 hours to vote. Now, this was post July 25th. It's a little bit more than 6.5 hours. This is old news to us now. So this doesn't really make sense. You can archive a post like this. Keep voting to get me in the top 25. That was July 24th. Vote for me. That was July 18th. So you took a week off of work. Last 24 hours of the key, click the QR code. So basically what's happening here is, and I say this respectfully, is that you are the friend that only shows up when he needs something. The only thing you asked me to do was support you. You never told me what was in it for me. You never told me about the song. So it's really hard for me to want to become a fan of someone or even follow you, knowing that I'm only allowed to follow 7,500 people. If I'm like, yeah, I really don't need to follow him because all he does is post when he needs me to do something. He doesn't really try to engage or anything like that. So that's what I want you guys to really think about is you've got this space that Instagram has given you. How are you going to show me that you're an artist that I want to engage with, that I want to become a fan of? And the best way to do that is to start sharing how your music is going to affect me. What am I going to experience by being a part of your community? Wow, Derek writes these songs and they always make me laugh. Okay, so I know, hey, when I'm in a crap mood, I can go to Derek. Why? Because Derek always seems to bring me up with his music. So we really need to help educate the fan. As our buddy Tom Jackson says, the audience is dumb. They're not going to figure out a lot of this stuff on their own. So it's up to us to educate them, to guide them where it is that we want them to do. The other thing you got to remember too is you're competing with the rest of the world. So somebody with less talent may show up and get everything that it is that you want to get to. They're going to get them before you're going to be able to get them. We have another one here I'll show you real quick that just came up. And Aaron, thank you for sharing this. So here's Aaron. Welcome to Aaron Grubb Music. Since 2020, I've been making music nonstop, from Legend of Zelda's cover songs to original orchestral music, as well as some other side projects. I produced and released over 90 songs in the last few years, totaling over 40 million streams across all streaming services. I plan on releasing much more in the following years, so follow along and send me your questions or comments. I always enjoy receiving your messages. Okay, very inviting. But once again, I haven't heard any music yet, and you're wanting me to subscribe. I need to talk to every website builder out there and get rid of this. Because sign up with your email address to receive news and updates. Okay, is it going to be any more than what I've just seen here? Then I go down and there's this big black space. There's really nothing there. So to me, this isn't really even, this should not be the home of your website. If you want to see, let me just see if I can get Dante Mazzetti.
While you're typing that in, I would just want to remind folks, if you're just joining us, this is the Music Career Study Group. Say hi in the comments. We're checking out artist websites. We're talking about fan engagement and trying to, power up the way we're communicating what we do to potential fans and how we nurture that relationship and build engagement. Rick, before you dive into this one,
Yep.
We've seen two websites with bios, and I feel like in both of them there were missed opportunities where, and I've worked with a lot of artists where this is the case with bios, where they see the bio and they start like way back in history, like since a certain date I've been making music, and it's like that to me is just, as a marketing person, wasted words, because I just landed on your website. I don't tell me something that's interesting and that's going to make me care. And I feel like in both those bios, there was opportunities to like, hey, if you love this type of music, blah, 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 you're in the right place. Even trying to tweak it that way, like say something that makes it interesting, not like,
well, and that's what you're about to see. And this is
Yeah.
something. So Dante Mazzetti, can anybody tell me what type of music he does? Gritty indie folk. Okay. So here's this.
My mind's always racing, and I think that the music that I play shows that I'm always traveling down different paths at the same time inside my head. I'll be playing guitar, bass, and percussion, and anything else I can grab hold of at the same time. It allows me to go from city to city and play music with the sound I want, just by myself, or sometimes joined by others. I always wanted to do a lot of things in life and could never settle on just one, so some years ago I joined the New York City Fire Department, and now I split the time as best I can. It's what I do, it's what drives me, keeps me going.
Okay, so I got to know a little bit more about Dante, but here's what he's asking me to do. Get VIP access plus free music. Okay, let's do it. Now, all of a sudden, share that one. This is key. Get 5 days of indie folk. My wife has been secretly filming me while I create and record my songs. We took those videos and created a virtual experience that takes you behind the scenes of the creation of my most popular songs, and you get the songs for free. Just tell me where to send it. That's a real fancy way of saying, give me your damn email.
Well, yeah, I like that.
Subscribe to my list.
It's like I'm trying to help you out by you giving me the email address.
Just tell me where to send it.
Yes, that's right.
You know, and this is to me, I'm more engaged with this person right now because he's wanting to give me something. See, all of you are asking for something. He's telling me what he's going to give me, and then you sign up. He's got his email set up properly. You get the videos delivered. You get a whole bunch of music. But if we go back to his website, do this again. If we go back to his website, this is the thing that's really interesting. Oh, my bad. That's going to make me touch up my camera. When we go back to the website, now all of a sudden, wrong area. When we go back to the website, take two. Let me make sure I get the right one. Present, share screen. There he is. When we go back to the website, the next thing, he's letting me hear his songs. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's going to ask me down here if I would like to purchase or stream. He's going to give me options. He's going to meet me where I'm at. And that's where a lot of artists make mistakes, is we try to send people, say, hey, if you want to purchase, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that. But hey, if you just want to stream it, go ahead, just stream it. Then he shares a little bit about his discography. Then he's like, let's be friends. Now he's going to send them over to his social media platform. Here's my store. Here's what people have to say about him. Join the community. Hear songs before everyone else. Help create the next line of merch. Get exclusive invites to secret shows in this free community. Just tell me where to send it all. So he's doing what you guys are all wanting to accomplish. He's just doing it in a specific order. He's like, hey, you listen to my music and you scroll down, let me take a shot. Okay, you're not ready to buy? Okay, go over here and stream. It's free. You continue to go down further. I didn't get you to join the community at the top. That's all right. I'm going to take another shot. Why? Because I've just given you some things now to go ahead and take that other shot. And then when you go follow him on his social media, now you can go see what he's all about on Instagram. You can see the type of stuff that he's posting. What you need to understand is that that's what everyone's doing with you as well. They're just kind of deciding without you being there, is this person worth dating? Is it worth going a little far. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm a pretty busy guy. So if someone's going to get me to go listen to their music, I wanted to hear more of his music just because of the cool vibe he had when he was talking in the video. And you know what I mean? I mean, if you've got those superpowers, use them.
Mhm.
But to me, that's much better than an about section. If I had to read all that stuff that he said, I'm lazy. No.
Yeah. Well, right there, I loved that intro video, because I think a lot of artists and a lot of these, website templates are set up to have a video up top or a header video. And oftentimes it's just like performance footage or, it would fine. But I like how his video, it says, what was it? It's something indie folk.
Indie gritty folk. It told you what type of music he was.
Yeah. So right there, you're like, oh, if you're into that, you're going to click the video. And I thought there was so much being conveyed in that video, just beyond, it was like a 45-second video bio, but it gave you feelings, it gave you textures, and it even flashed like the Beatles on screen. So I assume those are some of his influences. So it gave you a lot of information in an interesting way that wasn't just listing out stuff in word form, which no one is reading anything these days, especially.
Well, you're correct. It's like, and hey, have it there down the way.
Yeah. It's good to have it, but like a wall of text right at the beginning is not the way.
No, and we just got another submission. This will be the last one I'll do on this. I mean, we got
a good question here, Rick, from Melissa, while you pull that up. Do these apply to songwriters? Again, not looking to be a performing artist or looking for the limelight, but someone who's just trying to build a songwriting career. Would you structure a website a little different? I'm assuming Melissa is looking
you always structure everything for who your end user is. So if Melissa, let's say you're trying to get other artists to record your songs, then that would be a great video. Hey, I'm Melissa. And by the way, I gave up the dream of trying to be an artist years ago, but people have absolutely fallen in love with my music. And I'm looking for songwriters that are looking to collaborate, that may be looking for original material. Right below this video, here's 4 songs that have already accumulated over, 1 million streams. And if they interest you, right below is a contact information. You can send me your information. Once again, it's some place that you own. You own what it looks like. You own the order in which people talk to, but that would be more of a conversation piece. Also, too, Melissa, is I would be coaching you different. I would be having you have an Instagram page that says, hey, I'm Melissa, singer-songwriter, always looking to collaborate with other artists. If that interests you, DM me a link to where I can hear your stuff. Let's see if we're a good fit. You might go to Melissa, if you could just type in the comment real quick. Who's an artist, famous artist, that you feel could cut your songs, that you would love to hear singing your songs, that you feel your music relates to them? Once she gives me that, then what I would be doing is I would be going to YouTube and I would be searching that artist and then type the word covers. And what you're going to find, Jason Aldean or Lee Brice. Okay. So you're going to need to go Jason Aldean. There's going to be a lot of people doing covers. Lee Brice, there's going to be a lot of people doing covers. You're going to be able to go then comment and say, hey, Rick, loved your cover of whatever the song may be. Now, most of these independent artists, they're going to see that. They're excited to get comments because it usually doesn't happen. So now you're then able to go follow them on Instagram and go in and leave them a message. Say, hey, Rick, just saw your YouTube video. Absolutely loved it. By the way, are you ever looking for original songs? Don't send them a link. Don't give them a bio. Just ask them a question. Are you looking for original songs? If I come back, I go, oh my gosh, yes, I'm always looking for original songs. Awesome. Would you mind if I shared some of mine with you? They are available to be cut. No, I would absolutely love it. Now they've just given you permission to send them your music. So that's how I would be using social media, not trying to grow a whole bunch of fans, but using it as a way to directly connect with the person that I'm ultimately wanting to serve. Does that make sense? It's like, I'm not going to go in and just drop you a YouTube video. I'm going to go in and say, hey, I'm a big fan of what you did with Jason's song. I actually write songs in his style. Would you be interested in hearing some of them? Absolutely. Like you just said, absolutely. I would love to hear them. Now they've given you permission to go deeper in that relationship. Now, how do we use that now as an artist? So let's say, Chris, give me one of your favorite artists.
Oh, Jason Isbell.
Okay. So you're going to go follow Jason on Instagram. You're going to see the type of posts that Jason's posting that are engaging his fan. If he's doing it right, what he's doing right. Might not, by the way, a lot of major label artists don't use social properly either. So, but when you find something that they resonate with, feel how that's the type of content that you could ultimately end up creating. But let's say that Jason's talking about a particular song, and Chris, you have a song kind of in that vein, because as we know, there are no new ideas. Okay. You guys as songwriters and artists are trying to tell the same freaking story that's been told 1,000 times different than somebody else. And when you're able to hit on that, it really works. So you're going to go see who all those people are that are responding to that. And then you're going to go and you're going to comment, oh my gosh, Kevin, that's also one of my favorite songs. Oh, Rick, that's awesome. Matter of fact, that inspired me as a songwriter. That's all you're going to say. Then you're going to go in and you're going to follow some of these people. And then when you follow them, or you don't even have to follow them yet, I suggest following them first, because you can always unfollow them later. But go ahead and follow them, because they're going to get notified. Wow, Chris Robley just followed me and I noticed him from the Jason Isbell page. And then Chris is going to go in, because Chris follows instructions, and he's going to open up his Instagram, and he's going to go to Messenger, and he's going to type that person, get that person's name. And once he's in there, there's this little microphone button. He's going to hold it down and he's going to say, Rick, saw you over on the Jason Isbell page. I'm also a big fan of that song. Have you ever been to one of his concerts? He's just starting a conversation with somebody that they happen to meet. Oh my God, yes. Where did you see his show? I saw him in Rhode Island. Oh my gosh, it was the blah, 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 blah show. Now you're starting to have something in common with this person. Now, by the way, when you speak, because if you're like me, I type shit, my thumbs get in the way. I'm always having to backpedal. I can talk forever. And plus, it's more personal. I'm saying Chris's name. Chris is hearing my voice. Now I said, hey, by the way, are you ever into discovering new artists? Then he shuts up. He doesn't give him a YouTube video. He doesn't send him a link to his Spotify page. He doesn't send him his about section. He just asks him a simple question. Chris, oh my gosh, I love discovering new artists. Would you mind if I shared some of my music with you? Oh, Chris, absolutely not. I would love to hear it. Awesome. I've put together 5 unreleased songs that I would love to share with you. Can I share them with you? Yes. Great. What's your best email so I know that you get the link? Now he's just used the Instagram to try to get an email address. Once they give him the email address, because Chris has set his business up properly, he takes that email, he drops it in to whatever email platform he uses. He tags them, new listener or whatever. They get an automated email. Hey, it's Chris. Here's the songs that I promised you. And then a couple of days later, hey, it's Chris. Hope you had a chance to hear those songs. By the way, I can't believe my wife kept this video. Don't laugh too hard when you see it. Now he shares some whatever. And I'm just making this stuff up, but I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. Now we're basing down. And then 3rd email, 4th email, 5th email, he's going to show a picture of him in a Jason Isbell t-shirt. And he's going to say, hey, what's your favorite t-shirt that you're still keeping around? And then they're going to share their information. Hey, just out of curiosity, as a touring musician, what merch do you still buy? Are you still into buying merch? Now they're going to tell you a little bit about their buying habits. And then he's going to say, awesome. You know what? I've got this really cool merch store. Here's a 35% or 50% off coupon. Check it out if you see anything you like. Plus, I'd love your feedback because you're obviously a merch buyer. Now he didn't try to get him to buy merch on the first date. He started building a relationship with them. That's what true fan engagement is. It's where there's a 2-sided conversation Most of you are just speaking.
I can
You're not
hear
listening.
I can hear the objections of many viewers saying, I don't have time for all that for one person's conversation.
Great.
with one
And just
person."
enjoy the hobby you have of making music. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Well,
it's
Chris,
like, yeah.
Chris, I think it's important that to highlight that, you know, like what Rick's saying is that most artists are terrible at actually providing value to people that see their content. It's all me, where these are making inroads with people under like similar connections. And you're not going to do this forever, but you're building a solid fan base of a solid foundation of real fans. And that's what I think is important to highlight. That
And
most people
Exactly.
are looking at, as Rick said at the beginning, they're looking at numbers a lot of times that don't mean much, like follower counts and monthly listeners. It's like that monthly listener could be a bot, but this
Correct.
is real fans that are now paying attention and invested at some level, and you can count on for something.
Well, and I asked mostly as devil's advocate, but I also know that Rick said automation with the email stuff. So not every step of that relation building has to be manual.
Well, trust me, most of it doesn't have to be manual. You know, it's like the talking does, but let's be honest. How many of you take your phone to the bathroom when you take a shit? And it's going to be 100% of you. And you know what? As long as you're not in mid-gas or whatever, you could get a lot of voice messages sent while you're taking a dump. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Rick, I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was the best music industry advice.
No, but think about that. It's like if you're in the car, if you take an Uber, I can look over at my wife when we're watching a television program. She's checking in on Facebook during the commercials. She's doing or whatever. It's like, here's the thing. None of you have to do anything. You're your own boss, but don't expect business results if you don't treat it like a business. And if you honestly, here's your soundbite, Kevin.
All right.
If you do not have an hour a day for the customer service part of your business, then get out of the business. And do you understand the power that you have in your hand of being able to directly communicate with the consumer? Do you think Costco would love to have a conversation with every single person that's walked through Costco's door? Absolutely, they would. I know Coca-Cola would. I know Nike would. I'd insert business name here. When you have the ability to start conversations and grow your following, that's magic. And if all you want to do is create, that's okay. You know, I saw some article, Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, all pissed off at Pro Tools. You know, it's like, dude, come on. You just use AI to run an ad in 19 different languages to sell something. So don't bitch about technology. Melissa, I have a question for you. It says, I have to get on Instagram. I don't use it. I'm not savvy social media wise. That's fixable. If you know how to write a song, you can learn how to do social. Yeah. That's easy. But you said, I usually just blast my ReverbNation music page to the world. That's what I've been doing for 10 years. And my question would be, how's that working out for you? Because, and I say this respectfully, and I know we're here on the ReverbNation page. Do you know a lot of today's current music fans know nothing about ReverbNation? They know Spotify, they know Instagram, they know Apple. You know, ReverbNation is now, thank God, because Kevin and Chris are there, are now coming into the fold of what's happening now. You'll find a lot of older people may have known what ReverbNation was a long time ago, but right now we have to meet them where they are, and they're on Instagram. Why do you think we are doing this on the Facebook page and YouTube page of ReverbNation? Because that's where the people are. We could try to get them. It's like everyone could sit there on their phone and hit YouTube and watch what we got going on right now. Everybody could sit there, and when they send them a reminder, it says, hey, we're going live on Facebook. Oh, I got Facebook on my phone. This is where we have to meet everyone at. We're not doing this on the ReverbNation homepage, because we know most people aren't going there. Ultimately, we'll want to get them there. But today we're talking to you. So we're trying to meet you where they are. So I let them listen to it free. Absolutely. You let them listen to it free because they're listening to everybody else's music for free. It's like, go into Costco. I use Costco a lot as an example. I love it. You walk in, they have tasting stations. And then right there when you taste it, if you like it, you'll usually grab a bag and you'll go. They sell more of whatever's being sampled for free than they do anything else that's lined on that shelf. So your music is lined on a shelf. You have to make it as easy as possible for someone to be able to consume it, for them to be able to want to go to that next step, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think one thing that has been lost on artists over the years, Rick, is that with streaming, it wasn't just a different format. When we left the download era, there was really a dramatic shift in how music was consumed in such a way that before everything was a buying decision. It's like, has that person convinced me enough, or do I hear enough word of mouth, or did I hear a song on the radio to be motivated enough to go buy it? And that's a pretty high bar. But for the streaming world, it's like you're looking for those little tastes. You want those samples out there. You want, because people are going to
anywhere that they'll let you.
Yeah, because people don't have to buy, you have so many more people that would be willing to take a chance on pushing the play button for you.
Correct.
And so it's like reorienting your brain that the sale doesn't come first. It's warming up the audience, building that connection, then leading towards those.
Melissa says it's hard to say, hey, folks, go listen to my new song on Amazon. Then don't send them to Amazon. Send them to your website. Have the songs in order. Your best song first. You can't control what they do when they go to somebody else's platform. So what we have here is you don't know what you don't know. But now you have no excuses because we just told it to you. Remember Dante's website? Here's his video. Here was about 5 songs. He chose the order of those songs. Do you think he put his crappiest song first? No. He put the song that people probably love the most first, and then the second song they love the most. And that's the way. It's like we had Trick the Riddle, who just sent me his. Let me just show you this real quick. And this is something that we'll be able to learn from. And by the way, thank you guys so much for allowing us to use you as examples. This is perfect. So if we go to Trick the Riddle, stuff, contact. Have no idea what any of that means. Trick the Riddle, I don't like you, official visualizer. Now, this is something that's
the name of the song, just for clarification that people can see on the
Rick
screen.
is saying, I don't like you.
Yeah,
I don't like you is the name of the song.
So, yeah, you weren't judging the
official visualizer is an industry term. The fan does not know what a visualizer is, so you can go ahead and take that out. But what I would love to see is what type of music. You're asking me to spend my time watching videos. I just happened to stumble across your page. Who are you as an artist? What type of artist are you? What is it that you do? You're just asking me to watch a bunch of YouTube videos. And if I click on it,
I don't like
First off, let me say this. I'm already a fan of the video, but you've got to get me to want to push play. So this is where, if you're a fan of this style of music, check out the video below. I don't like you, give us something. But I also think too, let me go here. This is another kind of dark one. I like this.
I'm scared.
Yeah, too.
And there I stood.
So for me, on a long form video, which most of us don't live in that long form world, you'll want to take whatever the hot 30-second, 40-second, right at the hook, and then encourage people to go watch the full video someplace else. But you're going to have to meet me where I'm at. When I see 5 minutes and 23 seconds and I'm on a 15-minute lunch break right now, and I haven't met you yet, I don't know that I'm going to give you a third of my lunch break to be able to watch a video like this. You'll want to go out and start chopping it up. You've got very good visuals. You just haven't learned how to communicate yet. And that's something that once you learn that, it's going to change the game, because your visuals are good and we hear with our eyes. Okay, let me repeat that. We hear with our eyes something visually compelling, whether it be the hook of you saying something or it be something visually, is what's going to get us to ultimately push play. Because most of us have our phones muted because we don't want to get busted at work or wherever the case may be. So you have to get me to want to push more. Just from what I've seen, there's a story there. Tell that story. Okay. Bring me into that story. If you watch American Idol or you watch any show, basically, the story is going to happen before the music. The story is what's going to want me to get to the music. The story is what's going to make you relatable ultimately to that potential fan.
It's like the Olympics. Before you see them compete, you get this big story that has us all crying. And
the world, we've been telling stories since beyond. I mean, I'm not here to get religious, but Jesus told some cool stories to 12 dudes. Those dudes went around, told the stories to a whole bunch of other people. And then when Jesus came to perform at his show, all the people that heard the story showed up because they wanted to hear. I mean, he's been engaging. Can you imagine if Jesus had Twitter or Instagram? Holy crap. You know what I mean? It's like, but he was telling stories and getting people to go share before there was a share button, before there was a like button. He was getting hate before there was hate, you know, where people could just, so we have to, you got to say, Earl says, are you saying that I should make a short snippet of a longer video? No, you could just take snippets out of the video. There's all kinds of platforms that you can use. And the fourth staging of this, I'm going to go into more of the tools and show you how to upload a video, chop it up, size it up the right way, and things like that. But then have people click on that short hooky video to entice them to watch a full song. Yeah. I mean, think about Kevin and I. Okay. I sent him an Instagram piece. It was just a snippet that I got from our conversation last week. And like, hey, if you want to watch last week's episode, you can see it here. I'm doing that all the time because what I know is I've got a certain amount of time to get your attention and then get you to go back. Now, what's great is that, and these tools I'll teach you at another time, is I can then run ads to you to say, hey, I noticed you watched some of this video. Here's a link to check out the whole entire video. There's so many different ways that we can ultimately do that. But the one thing that I'm always trying to do is to get people to push play. That's the first thing I want anyone to do. Stop them in their tracks, give them a reason to push play. Once I have them push play, once I didn't make them jump through hoops, the chances of them pushing play a second time are much better. They're like, man, he always gives me the meat. He doesn't give me a 45-second, because you won't get it. The average watch time in the beginning, you've got to hook them in that first 3 to 5 seconds. And that hook may be, wait till the end. Okay, that's a hook. Now wait, because here's what I don't like. And this is starting to piss me off in my own scrolling, is I love it when I see a kid with a reel and I know he's going to catch a big ass fish. And then I click on it to watch it and they always cut it off right before he brings the freaking fish up on the boat. And now I'm pissed. But now here's what happened. Now Instagram feeds me every single fish video because I spent a minute and a half on this daggum video. So we've got to do what we can to get people to spend as much time with you as possible, so that then Instagram will say, they'll start feeding your stuff to more people. It's like, hey, Rick just watched this whole Chris video. We're going to show him another Chris video. Matter of fact, people who like Chris's videos also seem to like Kevin's videos. So we're going to start suggesting Kevin videos for Rick based off my habit. So we want to use their AI to our advantage. The best way to do that is watch time. That is the most valuable commodity today. And one of the biggest influencers of all algorithms is engagement, watch time. How much time are they spending with this? Because the longer they can keep us on the platforms, the better opportunity they have to show me an ad. And then I can go buy this golf shaft that I just bought yesterday because I spent time, and now I have to go say, sorry, already purchased.
Yeah, I think one thing with video that in relating back to like the website and Earl's question is that you want, when people are landing on your website, especially the videos you have featured at the top, you can assume that the people that are clicking on those are not diehard fans yet.
Correct.
And so you want to make sure that it gets right to the part of the video, the song that you want them to hear, but then use YouTube to, like, as the, say it's 40 seconds. And at the end, YouTube has those cards that you can put up that says, watch the full video here, click here. So if someone wants to go further, they can, but they're not like, Rick's talking about watch time. They're not watching 10 seconds into a 45-second synth buildup where the video actually starts and bailing and ruining.
So let me show you, Earl, a real live example here real quick. So this is one of my artists, Jordana Bryant. She averages about 600 comments per post, 13,000, 14,000 likes per post. She has an engagement rate that's very good. So what she did is this song right here. Let's see if it'll open up.
Baby, why don't we quit all of this back and forth, back and forth? So make a move and put your hands on me under the moon and say, baby, I could stay here like we're wanting more. Everyone can see it, so baby, why don't we quit all of this back and forth, back and forth?
Finish the lyric. I don't know what it means.
But when you look at me, I should've known when you dropped me.
So it is a lot of fun. What's your favorite song that you've ever written? Probably New Friends.
So what she's done there is she's incorporated a bunch of different ways for people to get to know her. She showed a behind the scenes of the music video. What does that say? Hey, there's a music video that's out right now. If they like the piece of the song, they can go listen to the link to go get the video. There's always different things that you can do. But what's great about this other stuff, and what I found with her, and this is just me sharing with you some behind the things. I said, Jordana, you've been at that 300,000 mark for a little while. How are we going to get you to 500,000? You're not showing enough personality pieces. You know how to, hey, get a bump. You know how to engage your current fan base, but what are you doing to attract new people? How are they going to get to come in and know you? So it's those personality pieces is a win-win, because one, it lets the people that already have signed up for her get to know more about her, but also it brings in new people going, hey, she's like me. Hey, she writes songs about my life. And that's what Taylor did better than anyone, is she just told other people's stories and started using short form video before it was considered short form video. Because honestly, if you tried to record a video back in the day on those phones and the file size was massive and it only showed up as a little square on your screen, we started doing short form just because it took 3 hours with a modem to upload something. You'd hear the little modem screaming in the back room, trying to do everything it could to upload that damn video. Now you guys have all the tools and resources readily available to you right now to go out, find the right audience, know that everyone's not going to like your stuff, understand what platforms they're on, understand how they consume the video, and let's stop trying to get everyone to do the things that we want them to do and start doing the things that they have already shown us they're willing to do.
Yes, that's a great word to sort of close things out for this week, because we're coming up on an hour. And Rick, what you just said there, I think was so important. It kind of summed up what we were doing with those websites, and that you said everyone's not going to like your music. And I think most artists need to really let that sink in and go, I'm going to go find the people that will love the music, not stop talking to just general audiences as if everyone's going to buy your thing. They're not. Be specific. Let them know that you're for them. And a lot of great tips there.
And with that said, Kevin, real quick, is the more stuff you put out that they don't like, that will come back to haunt you, because you won't get suggested.
Yeah.
It's like, so trying to please everyone will backfire on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes. What can we give us a teaser for next week? What
Yes. So next week, we're going to talk about the Superfan Blueprint. That was a really cool name. I think that Chris came up with. That was super cool. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go, I'm going to get a little techie next week. I want to take you in and start showing you how to build custom audience. So the thing is, we have people are aware of you, then people maybe stream. So as we start getting to that super fan, there's going to be different ways that we communicate with them versus the way we communicate with someone who just found us. So we're going to talk a lot about the different ways to communicate and kind of progress people up that ladder from going casual listener, follower, bought a ticket, buys everything that I put out, so we're going to kind of walk up that ladder.
Excellent. I look forward to that. And next week we'll be here, the same platforms, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, Music Career Study Group with Rick Barker joining us. And thank you all for participating and being here. It's awesome and thanks for those that let us put their websites on
Brave
screen.
soul.
That's
souls.
We appreciate it.
You noticed Chris didn't put his up, right?
No.
I'll send that to you separately. Yeah.
It'll be all lined up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Rick. And we will catch you all here next week, same time.
Be good. All right. Bye-bye.